you have no problem at all. So to every other person just joining, welcome. Kindly introduce yourself and where you're joining from. Let's meet you.
All right. So good morning. Sorry, good evening. I'm joining from Nigeria. That's in presently in Haba, and Adekojulu Afunmilayo Elizabeth. Thank you.
Amazing. I wasn't expecting to have your video like that. That's very bold. Awesome. Thank you for introducing yourself to Afunmilayo. So yeah, every other person can, do that in the chat box. Yes, let's meet you. So we have some few minutes for that. No, it's not a big deal for me. Thank you. That was very correct. So thank you for yourself by using your mic. So yes, let's meet other people where you're joining from, and if possible, maybe your expectation. So we had a lot of people, leave comments on Stefan's social media saying they were ready for this section and they can't wait. So I'm sure they're on the call already. Awesome. So not to waste so much time, we're going to get right into it. I'm going to be reading the bio of Stefan. I'm sure you're probably already anticipating to know more about him, right? So can you confirm you can see my screen with Stefan's bio? Awesome, thank you, Stefan. Okay, so Stefan is a seasoned project manager, an agilist with over a decade of experience across diverse industries, including automotive, education, software development, and gaming. As a change agent, trainer, and coach, he has successfully implemented agile frameworks and management 3.0 practices. Empowering teams to foster innovation, and Stefan specializes in project, program, and portfolio management, addressing organizational challenges to enhance collaboration and creativity. Also, he's passionate about creating safe environments for learning and improving workflows in remote and hybrid teams. Finally, Stefan is a certified facilitator in management 3.0, lead change, and let go. Seriously, actively engages in global sharing knowledge and staying alive with industry trends. It's dedicated to enhancing agility and team autonomy, tailored coaching and training. So with a round of applause, welcome. You can use the show your emotions, your reactions, emojis. Just welcome Stefan to the stage. I'm particularly excited about this. I hope you are. So if you are, let me show some excitement. Welcome. We're so excited to have you. I can't wait to listen to you.
Thank you, everyone. Okay. So I hope you hear me well.
Yes, sorry.
Thank you for introduction. I'll take over screen sharing, if you don't mind. And you will tell me if you see my screen.
It's coming up already. Yes, I can see your screen.
Amazing. Okay, so it's already announced and you already know what is the topic because you're here. Today, I will share a little bit about how to achieve peak productivity. Of course, we cannot cover everything in 30 minutes, but the point is that I want to, let's say, inspire you a bit. I'll share also my personal story. Actually, I changed a bit how I want to approach this talk. I do not want just to give you, let's say, what you need to try and so on, but I will, let's say, put a flavor of my story, what I did, and how it went, and why I think this topic is really, really important. Yeah. So that's the first point, and I will start now actually with asking you all one question. You're free to reply in chat. Why personal productivity is important for leaders? That would be my question. Let's see the answers in chat, and especially for project managers. You can drop answers in chat. While you're typing, I will try to inspire you and I will give you some ideas about it. So here are the questions. If you are not productive, how much of your potential is not used? Think about that. Think about the case if you're not productive, are you able to know how to make teams productive? Yeah. Third can be if individuals in the team are not productive, will team be able to be productive as a whole? Yeah. And if you always talk how productivity is important, but you constantly are late on meetings and always in rush, will people actually believe you? Yeah. So that could be the question. And I see some answers already there. Track the progress, of course. That's one of the most important parts, definitely. And what we will today actually focus on is to try to understand how to build this system, which actually can help us to be more productive and actually achieve more with less effort and have some freedom for us as well, because just work will not work. So today we will discuss a bit why these traditional time management methods are not working. We will discuss a bit about how multitasking actually destroys your focus, what really separates the hyper-productive people from those who are constantly struggle. And I will also at the end present you three things, three secrets, let's say, how to build this productive system, because they are secrets, because no one is actually talking about that, but they are so straightforward that you can implement it really easily. Yeah. So who is this for? So if you're an entrepreneur, manager, project manager, this is definitely for you. If you want to change your habits towards better productivity as well. And this is not for those who think we can make success overnight. So definitely they will not benefit from these tips for sure. And if you stay till the end, as I said, we will introduce step-by-step approach to the personal productivity, and you will actually understand what you should do and what you should not do and stop doing to save your energy actually. Yeah? So why you should listen to me at the beginning. For five past years, let's say, I've been working with individuals and teams to increase productivity, and I speak about it in international conferences for a while. And just before that, I was also in situation that my day was chaotic, multiple projects simultaneously, a lot of to-dos in my list, and of course, constantly feeling exhaustion and stress. And of course, the result of all of this was for me this chronic fatigue, overwhelm, and constant feeling there's never enough time for me. So I actually tried to really explore this topic, and last 5 years I'm deeply exploring this topic and reading a lot about this, also about scientific facts, how we can actually be better in productivity. And what I tested last year is complete system from beginning to the end, how you can actually implement it. And I'll just show you my results after implementing this system. So last year I was working 9-to-5 job, and besides this 9-to-5 job, I organized 10 workshops, yeah, which are 3 to 6 day workshops, and they will really let's say good graded as well, because important is that you are capable to do something, but also in parallel to have good quality of it for sure. Yeah, I also spoke on 7 international conferences, couple of days events all around Europe. as I said, I was part of one team. This was my 9 to 5 job. We produced new Tetris game, which was really, really good and really well rated. I, let's say, organized myself around Modern Minds. This is a Modern Minds Institute where we produce this, let's say, education. I also launched my self-paced P3 Express course. You learned about P3 Express last time when Frank was here a bit. I also launched one educational program with my wife. And what is most important, my kids can still recognize me, as you see on this picture. So I still have time for my, let's say, family. And this is really important aspect that no one should forget. Friends and family while you're doing all of this. So everyone asking me how you achieve this, and actually that's why I decided also to tell my story a bit about it. So just imagine that you can actually finally have enough time for yourself and your loved ones while being successful and constantly investing in your career. Yeah. So question is it easy to achieve peak productivity without feeling overwhelmed and stressed? Yeah. How hard that is? Yeah. You can type in chat. We will check it later. But from my point of view, I tried really different things. Yeah, to-do lists, they just pile up, never get finished. Motivational videos, productivity applications I install and just forget after 2 days to use. I did some fixed planning that falls apart as soon as first unplanned task comes up, and so on. So I tried a lot of stuff, and that didn't work until I discovered and created this productivity system that works actually for me, not against me. And my career shows how I had peaks in my productivity and how I have drops and downs, let's say. My career started from junior project manager, and this was really nice, let's say, period for me. Then I became a director of project management department, yeah. And after some time, I become an entrepreneur and speaker and so on. So productivity while I was there also was different. And you can see that easily on the next slide, because productivity, and if you're going too much on the stress and do some bad things for you, it also reflects your health, yeah? So while I was project manager, this 9 to 5 job, that was totally fine, but I worked hard, rushed, and often hurt myself on the way, as you see in the picture. Then as a project management director, I neglected my health. I worked 12 plus hours, everyday stress. As you see, I also gained a lot of weight in that period of time, and so on. And I keep starting in that period some new productivity techniques, but nothing lasts, yeah, for a while. So I didn't have clear system that actually was helping me to stay productive. So it was constant stress. And now after a while, I'm entrepreneur. I work as much as I want. I'm happily married with 2 kids, and actually today everything looks totally different when I actually put that everything in my productivity habits. Only thing what I wanted personally, I wanted to be free, yeah, and to, let's say, have everything in my life what is needed. And I wanted to have situation when I finish my working day, that I know that I did important stuff and that I was not just busy, let's say, and to be able to devote myself to the project that really bring results for me, yeah? And that enabled me to do all other stuff, additional education and everything what I was talking about. But to get there, it was not that easy. Multitasking was killing me, especially in situations when new technologies were coming, and I wanted to learn everything and to keep up with everything, and I was extremely busy. So this is happening somewhere around when I was a director position or project manager, and the more I worked, the less time I had. Of course, that's normal. Because of this multitasking, I thought, what should I do? How can I act differently? I was also starting to explore how I can actually multitask better, which is not a good idea, because multitask actually, I don't know if you know, it actually decreases your IQ. What it means that during multitask, your IQ is lower 10 to 15 points, meaning that if you're on the meeting and in the same time typing an email, maybe it's better that your 8-year-old child is typing that email than you. Yeah, that's how different it is. And actually, if you constantly multitask and you're constantly in that mode, it's actually also can reflect on your emotional intelligence and how you behave and how you, let's say, treat others on the long run. So also can have these long-term issues. And that's everything that one really big study, University of London came to. They actually tried to scan brains of the people who multitask often and people who do not multitask that often, and that actually realized that this cognitive part of the brain it's less developed on people who multitask a lot. So that was really, really dramatic thing when I learned, and I tried immediately to think about, okay, what should I do? This is something that needs to change for sure. So what I realized, and I think all we know, but it's hard to implement, that success is actually not coming if you work harder, but if you work smarter. Yeah. So always before I start some work, I think about that, and this is something that I started to implement in my daily routine, and I actually created this routine, which we'll talk about right now. Which is actually based on scientific facts. I studied a lot of psychology and learned a lot about these habits, how to be and build productive habits. So I created a routine that actually helping me to remind myself how to behave and how to act in some situations. But once I created this routine, there were 3 problems that actually threatened to collapse everything. First, it was this kind of mental conflict when I was thinking can I really do less and achieve more? And that stopped me a lot, because in the moments when I paused and let's say reflected and planned something, it seems that I could use that time to actually work. Yeah. So it was really this mental struggle. But then, actually, when I started researching a lot about this focus and how to stay focused, I learned that in this new system I'm implementing, actually, you will work more because you work focused, and then you do not lose this context switching during multitasking is not killing your productivity. So that was the first thing that was struggle for me. Second thing was environment around me. So people around me didn't understand the new strategy. They thought I was lazy when I started to work fewer hours and taking breaks and let's say reflect a lot. They was thinking how you can actually achieve more and do even less than before. My team, which I work with, they thought I would stop pushing the work. Yeah. Clients also, they expected me to work 24/7, so they were not really understanding how that can work with us in our cooperation. And actually, the family also didn't understand how I suddenly have more time, and they were afraid, yeah, that clients will start to canceling because I work less. But then when they saw results, everyone was asking me how and what they actually should do. So beside these 2 things, I had also one personal struggle, how to stay consistent. I talk a bit about this, how to continue even in situation when I, let's say, am not being productive for a couple of days, how to come back. Yeah? Because usually, you know, the situation, if you're going to the gym, if you skip three slots of gym work, then in some cases people just not continue going to the gym, and that's it. Yeah. But when I put everything on the paper and I started doing my new routine, I actually got something that is really important. That's freedom. And this Oscar for productivity, I'm kidding, this was some joke, but I went from 60 hours of work to the 30 hours of work. I was no longer stressed and overwhelmed, and I was be able to make better decisions because I have more time to think about my next step. So I'm not slave at work. Work works for me. That's really important. People love what I work. That's also important, and people recognize this. So this is some people I work with and help with, and I will not read all of this. I just want to see these keywords: make change happen, enhance team efficiency, collaboration, engaging a productive structural work approach. And this is all part of this. So after 10 years, and actually I spent more than 30,000 euros exploring and learning a lot about this, I discovered the hard way. But actually, since you're here, you'll get a easier way, let's say. Yeah. So let's come to these 3 secrets to productivity. One of these is less is more. So we will talk a bit about how to create a system in simple way and become productive. It will be first thing we'll discuss. Second thing is the system should work for you, not you for it, because a lot of times I saw people implement something and that actually drain their energy and time. Yeah, even in addition, which is not the point. Yeah. And without good habits, every system fails. I'll talk a bit about how to stay consistent and how to create these good habits. Yeah. So let's start with the first point. This is less is more, step-by-step productivity. This is a simple framework. Which starts with clean your mess, create goals and metrics, do productivity boosts with the tools, and optimize your workflows, and then sustain and improve. What I learned that I had a lot of practices and a lot of good things, but I didn't use them properly. As example, everyone will say to you, start with goal, what you want to achieve. Yeah. But if you do not clean your mess, you will never have time to achieve that goal. So I just turn it around and say, okay, let's first clean the mess and then think about the goals and what should be our next step. So that's why this first one is actually cleaning your mess, and then start create an order. And how I actually do this clean mess, I have one simple strategy in my calendar that I use, and I have 3 color rules, let's say, which you can see in this calendar. So when I start my planning for upcoming week, I sit in the morning on Monday or maybe Sunday evening, and I think about, okay, what are the things that are fixed, that cannot move, and that must happen in specific time. Yeah. Those things I put in calendar and mark with red color. Yeah. So I know that this cannot be moved. Yeah. And this is something that usually you need to think about first. Second one, these yellow items are actually something that can be moved, but they must happen in that week, because if you skip doing those stuff in that week and you postpone, then next week will, let's say, collapse, because you'll have more stuff to do, and then you will get in habit of postponing, which is bad. Yeah. So all obligations which are actually not fixed but must happen that week, I put as a yellow. And the blue is actually, I'm just filling the gaps. I'm just trying to understand what else I can do strategically in my goals, and put that in place. You will see that most of the red items are on the, let's say, first part of the week. Yeah, because that's how I also do prioritization. So I fixed as much as possible stuff to be at first part of the week. Yellow items, I'm trying not to put on Thursday and Friday, because if you put on Friday and then you need to postpone, then you're in trouble. You're starting with a habit of postponing. But if they are example on Tuesday and you postpone it to Wednesday or Thursday, that's still fine. You will still be able to reach it, because always you can have some urgent stuff, and then that becomes some fixed obligation for you. And instead of this yellow thing, you put a new red one, and that yellow you move later on in your calendar. So that's how you actually create this calendar, and this is how actually you clean your mess. So you know what you work on, you know how your day works, and that's it. And every time if someone asks, hey, can we meet, I don't know, 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, you can open your calendar and say, I have time, I don't have time. If you have yellow item there and it's Tuesday, you say, of course, I can move this yellow item to Thursday or Friday. Yeah, and that's it. Important point, once you move something which is yellow, next time becomes red because you do not want to postpone one item 2 times. Yeah, that's important point. Now, once you clean your mess, then you can start actually working on your goals. And I have really simple technique for this. I actually think about 3 main goals that I want to achieve in the current year. I put them on this sheet. Then I choose one goal that will improve my quality of life mostly, yeah, and I write it down. And then I write some key results and how I will measure a progress, yeah, of that goal. So I put, as example, if I want to become better in public speaking, I'll put something like, let's say, go to at least 3 conferences and measure how people think about your talk. After the talk, do some survey and things like that, yeah. And really important part at the end is actually to dedicate how many hours per week you will spend on that goal and put that in calendar. So every Thursday, I don't know, 1 p.m. I will work for 2 hours on that goal, yeah. And that's important. Then you dedicate part in calendar and you have reminder that actually need to work on that goal, yeah. That's second part. Third part, I will not go too deeply in this topic, but there are a lot of tools nowadays, as I believe you know, that can help you be more efficient. I use a lot of AI and for the summary of the meetings, for some ideas of creation and so on. I use a calendar as example to put everything there. I use WhatsApp and sending messages to myself as a notes. So I think it's really important to use something that you use every day, because if you just add new tools, then you will be overwhelmed with tools. So think about what you're currently using, and that can also be used for some things that like notes or putting some reminders and things like that. So try not to create and add too many applications. This is really important, yeah. But a lot of tools are there that can help you. Trello application for the, let's say, organization of your personal Kanban and things like that, for sure, yeah. So once you establish your, let's say, routine, how your, let's say, week is working, which tools are you using, and the progress of your goals, it's also important to reflect a bit and understand how it's going, yeah, where you are. So you should monthly review what, let's say, long-term goals you currently have, you accomplished, where you are with them, and think about what tactics you implemented help you to achieve your goal and be closer to your goal, and what didn't, let's say, produce any value to you. You just stop using that, yeah. So you need to refine your routine, and you need to try to find the best way how to work, yeah. That's something that you use on a monthly basis, and of course you book hour or hour and a half in your calendar to do this reflection. That's also really important, yeah. And to be able to make this productivity in long run, you need to have good habits, yeah. That's really important. This is the biggest challenge. And what really helped me when I learned about this fog behavior model, which actually is saying that behavior is happening only if you have 3 components. First is motivation, second is ability, and third is trigger. So these 3 components must be there. That action is actually happening. Motivation, you all know, yeah. Ability is sometimes time, sometimes is knowledge, sometimes is skill, sometimes is money, depending on situation, but that's ability. And trigger is actually notification. Something need to remind you to do something, yeah. And actually, I tried this in my daily routine to see how it works. As example, I created my morning routine. After drinking a glass of water, I write 3 tasks for that day, and then after that, I drink my favorite coffee. And I will later on speak a bit about why this drinking a coffee and reward is actually important, because this is also one psychological concept which is definitely important. When I was able to, let's say, implement this in my routine, I was able to work on new Tetris, do conferences, workshops, do humanitarian work, and have freedom. So a lot of stuff in parallel, but it was possible. So this routine works for everyone, even for some professionals, for entrepreneurs, I worked with some creative persons who like a lot to, let's say, derive new ideas and so on, and their focus is going around. For project managers especially, and leaders, employees who wants to advance in their career, especially because if you want to advance in your career, you should, let's say, put more effort, and to put more effort, you need to have more energy, and to save energy, you need to be more productive. So everything is actually connected, yeah. And if you want to maintain this balance between life and work, it's really important to be productive. So summary of the secret one: clean your mess, create goals, do productivity boosts with the tools available for you, optimize your workflow, and then sustain and improve with productivity habits, yeah. Secret 2, actually how to implement the system, but do not feel burnt by another obligation and so on. And this is really simple framework. Start small, block your time, and reflect. Because if everything is priority, nothing is priority. You know that. So if I will tell to you, implement everything, tools, calendars, routine, reflection, everything at once, you will not implement anything. So start small. So you need to do step-by-step approach. Think about what is the first thing you can do. What is the most thing you need in this moment? If this is the better organization of your week, you start with calendar. If this is working on your goals, start with goals. So do one by one and focus on that. Implement that for 1 week or 2. When you're happy with that, or see that gives good results, think about the next routine you will implement. So never do everything at once. That's really important. Whenever you work on implementation of all these routines, block time. So you block time in your calendar and say, today I work on my goals, yeah? And I will work on this little framework to define which goals are important for me. And that's really important. Always block your time and always turn off notifications. That's, I think, really, really important. And of course, you always need to reflect, because to understand what from things you implemented give you a benefit, what not, yeah? And that will give you constant progress. And this is just one example. I started going to these live conferences 2 years ago, and I actually started to measure my let's say, how I deliver these talks, and more I were there, more I gained let's say, experience, and the better it was. So if you have this constant progress, do not start. I never start with 5 conferences in 1 year. I started with 1. So next year I had 2 conferences. Next year I was on 5 conferences. So you just potentially let's say, increase from that point of view. Okay, so summary of secret 2: start small, block your time, and reflect. Really easy, really important. Secret 3 is about how to stay consistent and create these productive habits, and I will talk a bit what already started before. We will have 3 things: analyze your current habits, create a trigger, and reward yourself. These 3 important steps. What I did actually personally, I tried to understand why we are so good in creating bad habits and so bad in creating good ones. Yeah. So I was like, okay, let's try to analyze what one bad habit has in its core. Yeah. So I was, let's say, a couple of years ago, I was 10 kilograms. I had 10 kilograms more than today. And I realized that every time I eat something like meat or barbecue, I was drinking Coke with sugar, of course. And that was actually something that I created as a habit. I was not drinking Coke when I was not when I was eating something different. But when I eat barbecue, as an example, I drink Coke. So I was like thinking, okay, what is happening there? Every time I eat barbecue, I drink Coke. Okay, so I have trigger, yeah. Barbecue equals Coke. That's trigger. Next thing was Coke was easily accessible, so I had ability to get it really quickly. It was in the fridge, or when I was in restaurant, it was, let's say, I just call the waiter and he brings it. Yeah, so it was ability was really easy to get it, and at the end, reward. I got a reward at the end because when you drink and sugar gives you some, let's say, feeling of satisfaction, yeah, because there are a lot of hormones and so on afterwards. So I was thinking, okay, if that pattern is, let's say, repeats, you always have a trigger, so reminder, it's really easy for you to implement that bad habit, and then at the end you get reward. That's why we are getting a lot of bad habits in our life, yeah, because it's really easy, and at the end you get a reward, yeah. So I was trying to understand, okay, can we implement the same system on the good habits? Of course. So we can use that system from the bad habits to implement the good ones, yeah. So I was starting to analyze my current good habits and say, okay, every morning, when I woke up, let's say when I sit and drink my coffee, I open my calendar. That's a good thing because then I have it on my cell phone, which is something that, let's say, adds to ability because it's really accessible. If it's on a cell phone, I drink coffee, sit, and I can access easily my calendar. So I was thinking, okay, that's a good thing. So that's a good habit. So what you actually need to do to think about what good habits you have, tie to those good habits new one which you want to have as a habit in the future. Yeah. So you tie that to the good one. So every morning when I make my coffee and open my calendar and review the task for that day. Yeah. So that could be the additional thing I do. I want to tie good habit to the old one, and then you reward yourself. Yeah. I like to watch on YouTube funny videos. So after I do this morning routine, I watch funny videos on YouTube. Yeah. So you can build this rewarding system easily, and you just need to think first which habits you already have and to tie to them good ones, because those which you have already on the daily basis you do can remind you to do the other ones. Yeah. And this is just one example how I started to read more. Yeah. I put my phone charger away from the bed. This was first thing. So it was, let's say, ability to get bad habit was harder for me. So I was, let's say, it was not that accessible for me. I left the book on the bedside table. Yeah. So ability for me to get the book was pretty easy. Habit was just before let's say, just before my sleep, I will read. So that was a trigger. And then as a result, it was that I actually read 3 times more than before, just implementing this simple habit. Yeah, it's a hack. Yeah. So think about this. If you can implement all of this, can you have more time and success with less stress? Think about it, and let's see in chat what you think about it. If you will be able to implement all of this in these steps which I showed you, do you think you will be able to be more successful? Okay. So let's remind ourselves why you're typing. Yeah. Less is more. So we need to change habits from the root in simple way and to be productive. The system should work for you, so you do not need to implement everything at once. Really important. And without good habits, every system will fail. How to stay consistent? It's not that easy, but it works. And I have one important thing. Okay, how can you use this with the teams? So you know how to do this, that's totally fine, but how you cannot connect this with teams, how your teams can be productive after you finish this with all framework, you started implementing it, you're using it, how you can do this with teams. It's simple. You use the same framework, this productivity boost framework, with a team. Yeah, same clean mass, goals and metrics, productivity boost, workflow optimization, and then sustain and improve. And this clean mass and set goals is actually all about start small. So start to utilize calendar with team and delete unnecessary meetings and processes. This is the first thing. I usually use exercise called meeting killer, and you have let's say axis one axis is actually value of the meeting, and another axis is actually time you spend on the meeting. And then we try to put every meeting on that scale. If something is taking too much time and value is not enough, then we need to think about, okay, can we do this via email? Can we increase the value somehow and speak about really important stuff there? Or can we just delete this because it's not important? And actually, I had a situation with one team, we deleted 3.5 hours per week doing this exercise. And what was the result? No one having anything against this, even not management, because team was even more productive. They could use these 3.5 hours per week to do something more valuable. So that's important. Think about what you can remove from your team routine. That's really important. Goals for the productivity improvement you can do on the team level as well. Set objective, key results, and how you will measure productivity as well. That's also possible. Regarding teamwork, you can do team planning, meetings. Try to think about how I set these red, yellow, and blue areas on the calendar. So try to think about important stuff and put them at the beginning of the week. Also, try to think about meetings. Meetings should be on the second part of the day, because we are most productive in the morning. Most people are most productive in the morning. Of course, you can discuss with your team and define, but you should have some focus time without interruption, first part of the day, and then a second part can be more for meetings and things like that. Yeah, focus, really important. Block your time, yeah, for focus time. First half of the day, block your time, notifications off. Message other only if urgent, and you agree with the team. Only if urgent. If I cannot do anything about it, yeah, message me. You can also do message scheduling. If you know that you will forget to message someone if you just not do it now, you type a message, and in most, let's say this Slack or some other applications, you can select to schedule message to arrive, I don't know, 2 hours later. Yeah, if you think you will forget something. Yeah. And as example, when I worked on site with team, we had so-called focus flags. Everyone had a flag, red flag, and he put on his table in the moment when he's in deep focus mode. And no one should interrupt him, yeah, because he's in deep focus mode, only if something is burning, let's say, yeah. So that's really important. Regarding habits, try to make each other accountable. Try to maintain this positive peer pressure, yeah. Try to lead by example, so constantly demonstrate these good habits. Create as much as possible automation for all things require reaction. Yeah. So if you have possibility to create some automation, do it. Celebrate more often, even small wins, because this is this motivational part about our habits. Yeah. So split work in smaller portions, because there is something great in making something done every day. Yeah, if someone is putting just on the Jira board something in done, that's a point where you get this boost of your motivation as well. So try to constantly analyze if team is lacking ability as well. So if they're lacking time, if they're lacking skills, and if they lack motivation, of course, or maybe try to create some team buildings or some good thing is also to do this team competency matrix to understand if ability of the team is not in the good position. Yeah, and to be able to sustain this, you need continuously to improve it first. Yeah, so you need to create work agreements. One good practice is that I always do with my teams. I discuss with them first how we communicate as a team, how we share information, how we collaborate, and what tools can help us to do our job better. So you're now thinking about the tools and discuss together with team. They always have some good proposals. Yeah. Always retrospect. So regularly have meetings to improve and reflect on your work and how that affects your productivity, and try to understand what you are missing. Yeah. Maybe you're missing some tool, maybe you're missing time, maybe you're missing skills. So retrospect a lot and try to understand what can help you, and of course improve. Yeah, put improvement task in calendar as well. Yeah, and plan at least 15% capacity for improvements, because you will see the return of investment of this 15% is really quick. And once you gain this productivity boost, then you just are capable to do more and more and more. I think that was the last slide. Let me see if some messages.
Awesome. Awesome. That was amazing. In a very short, period of time. Let's show our expression of how the section was. Let's show Stefan how the section was for us. That was amazing. Thank you so much, Stefan. How you were able to do
Thank
this
you.
in less than 1 hour or less than 45 minutes. Right.
Yeah, I will leave some time for questions as well. And since I believe that feedback is breakfast for champions, I also put some QR code. You can scan it with your mobile and just give me a feedback, because I want to constantly improve also. So if you find something valuable, mention that. And yeah, you'll see it's really like 1-minute questionnaire you should fulfill. That's it.
Yes, I totally agree with that. So let's take a screenshot of the page, so you can scan it if you're not able to scan it right now. Also, I like that everyone, say something that really stood out for you before we take in questions. So if you have questions, put in your question in the chat box. Just Stefan will be happy to respond to that. So, but yeah, for other people, how was it for you? What really stood out for you? I see some people were already commenting before Stefan was done. Adequate said, for me, I'll be more productive, especially when I can change my bad habits and tie more to my good habits. So I'm really glad that, I'm sure she's really glad that you said that to really help her. And Unovo said that I struggle with consistency, but I believe with this, I can be better. Awesome. Rakibat said, thank you for sharing. We definitely the next is because I've been struggling with consistency. Also, Favor is saying thank you. Stefan is saying thank you for this insightful section. Also, I'm really happy that you learned a whole lot in this short period of time. So yeah, now we can put in your question. And for those of us that are not asking questions, you can scan the code on the screen. So this is an opportunity for you to ask Stefan questions. Right. So just put in your question. Let's see. We're going to address them. So for me, while I wait for questions in the chat box, there's something about things that really struck me. Stefan said, if everything is priority, nothing is priority. Never do everything at once. That was mind-blowing for me, because you want to multitask, you want to do everything at once. But that statement really, like I said, eye-opening for me. So I need to learn to understand that not everything cannot be a priority. Everything cannot be a priority.
The really important part is actually ability to say no. So you need also to think about how you, in which situations you say no. And I developed for myself a thing which I ask myself before I answer to any, let's say, request. So I think about, okay, if I do this, which that person is requesting from me, will my goals will benefit from it? Yeah. Will my close friends or family will benefit from it, or it will help someone which is in really big trouble? Yeah. If you answer all no, or all 3 questions, probably you should say to that person no, without any offense. Just say no. You do not need to explain in details. You just need to say, my current schedule is too occupied, that currently I cannot help with this. I can maybe propose some people who maybe can ask for that favor or whatever. Yeah, and that's it. That's normal.
Awesome.
I see some questions. Yeah, I see some
Okay.
questions. What early signs of burnout should project managers watch out and how we address them proactively? Burnout is actually some topic that a lot of people are talking nowadays, and it seems that it's slowly becoming normal, which is not normal. So what I will say to you, if you do not have during the day time to, let's say, sit 30 minutes and reflect, not during the lunchtime, but besides that, and if you are constantly in struggle, if you have a habit of delaying stuff, if you have a habit of, let's say, being anxious and let's say keeping yourself let's say too let's say constrained in some situations, then probably this some early sign of burnout. So I had a personal story where I was actually there was a situation that I was working in an automotive company, and our customer announced that they will come tomorrow. Yeah. And I know that we have problem in production and it will not be good with it and so on. And tomorrow morning I woke up just before I was starting. I was ill. I was having fever, and I was thinking about, okay, should I go to the job or not? The moment I decided to go to the job, I did the worst thing in that day, because in addition to already having stress and taking this additional obligation to me, I was so let's say demotivated, and I was so, let's say, stressed after that day in addition, that I was, let's say, collapsed for a couple of weeks. And that was the sign that I couldn't prevent the burnout. So if you see that you're getting ill more and more often, and that's also one of the signs, because, as you know, stress is one of the biggest let's say things that makes us ill. So also take this into consideration as well.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Does that answer your question, Favor? I'm sure it does. Okay, so we have another.
Thank you.
Thank you. If, for instance, I have set goals for my team, but sometimes find myself lacking motivation or delaying tasks, not because I don't know what to do, but because I struggle to take action, how I can overcome this and prevent from affecting my team progress. If your team is directly affected by that, that's definitely a problem. What is really interesting in this fog behavior model, you can Google it a bit. I will write it down so everyone knows what it is. Fog model. What is really important, this model, that sometimes you do not need to always have motivations to act. You then need to have stronger triggers. So it's a balance between these three things. Try to in such situations, try to understand what is probably it's not lacking not lacking motivation, but maybe you're even demotivated to act. That could also happen. So if you find yourself that you're delaying specific type of tasks, try to understand if that is the case. So try to analyze your, let's say, work week or 2 weeks or month, and try to write down each moment you delayed something, what was the reason and what type it was. Because if you recognize that the type is always the same, or in 90% of the cases was the same, then you're on the right track. Then you need to go deep dive in that point and try to understand why you actually delay those type of tasks. Are they boring for you? Is this something that you do not have time for? Or maybe you need to delegate some of those tasks to others, and because that will help your team. So try to think and go deep dive if you have this pattern that things are repeating. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for answering that. So we have another question. Part 1, flow optimization.
Yeah, I'm reading. Economy is a formula. Trying to juggle many activities together to have good standard for living. How do you maintain the right balance and productivity to keep not to burn out? Okay, so I had this situation a couple of years ago. I was really working 3 jobs in parallel. I mean, one was 9-to-5 job, but another was, let's say, these workshops I was doing, and another was, let's say, related to event organization. So how I did it, I actually tried in single day just to do one thing. Yeah, I never had 3 things doing in single day, and then actually my productivity increased a lot, because you do not have this effect of context switching. Yeah, each time you switch from one let's say, portion of tasks or one project to another. You have this context switching, which actually happening because you need to remind yourself, okay, where you were, what was the last thing you did, and then you need to remind yourself and so on. So try not to do too many things in the same day. That's the first thing. You still be able to do all of this in 1 week, but try not to do in the same day. And what is really good thing that I advise to everyone, if you're doing a lot of digital work, yeah, and you have, let's say, 3 projects, and all 3 projects you have, I know, SharePoint, some project management tool, some Google Drive, some, I don't know, Miro whiteboard and things like that. So you need to open like 5 to 10 tabs each time when you, let's say, go to one project, yeah, want to start to work on one project. Create a bookmarks folder and put all these tabs in that bookmarks folder. Then you click on the right click and then open all, and then it will open all tabs related to that project. Once you finish working with that project, just close everything and then open another one, another folder with the same thing. Right click and then open all, and it will open all tabs related to that project. That is the strategy which will help you not to search for documents, where this is, where is the link of that, and so on. I did this myself when I was working on 6 projects in parallel, and I was understanding that I lose too much time during the day to switch from one project to another. So that's also a good idea. Everyone has bookmarks in the Chrome or Edge, so you can do this easily.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Stefan, for responding to that. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, workflow optimization. As a project manager, can you elaborate, please? Yeah, you need to understand what is your daily routine and what are the things which are repeating all the time. So, as example, when I work with some clients from the marketing strategy team, I had always the same workflow. As example, yeah, I need to analyze some data. Yeah, I need to prepare some versions and proposal for them. They need to approve them. Then they need to, let's say, I don't know, pick the one, we need to test it, and then the winner will be promoted, and we will, let's say, put more money to promote that specific marketing campaign or something like that. So you need to understand what is your workflow as a project manager. As example, in the morning, I always write tasks, then I engage with team, then I do this, when I do this, and understand what is your workflow. And maybe to optimize it, you need to switch something to another day, or maybe you need to combine a few things together. Try to think about combining, let's say, things which are similar type to be the same batch. Yeah, that's the point. So if there are meetings, they should be in same batch. So one meeting, then 15 minutes break, then another meeting. If it's focus time and something that you need focus for, then you also batch those type of tasks. So as example, I reply emails only one time in the day. Yeah, I have 30 minutes in my calendar during the day where I reply emails. And if something came to my inbox which is not in that time, I will tomorrow reply, because nothing is urgent which is coming via email. That's for sure. So try to think about what you do and batch the things together. So instead of replying to one email and then work on something, then reply on the second one and so on, try maybe to batch them together as example and reply all at once. And if you are, let's say, updating some project plan, do it always on one day in week. Yeah, Thursday 2 p.m. I always update, and then you will create this routine, and your week will be more predictable. And predictability means less stress. Yeah, that's the point here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. I want to ask a question, John, Stefan. You said something. You said anything coming by email is not urgent for sure. So that's really triggered me. So not like triggered me, like made me very clear. So what's like a very urgent way to reach someone if it's not email?
I lost connection for Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Did you get my question?
I just lost connection for a moment. So
Okay, I'll say that again. So you said that anything coming by email is not urgent for sure. So I'm very curious. So what is the way to reach someone urgently if it's not email?
I think you should. I think that the best way to do it is to create work agreements. Yeah. So with all people you work with, create work agreements that anything which is urgent, as example, should not come via email. Should be via Slack or via direct call or whatever. Yeah. So I think first thing we need to discuss with the stakeholders and with our teams what is important for us. And once we know what is important, then to plan it that way. Because when I see that urgent thing comes to my email, I try to next time to prevent it. Yeah, I say tomorrow in the morning, sorry, I didn't reply on time because what is coming to I am getting hundreds of emails every day. Yeah, I know that you can put the urgent thing on your email to let's say to have it, but again, I'm not capable to let's say take a look in all of them. So sometimes I would do you have option to extract all emails and actually to paste it to the AI tool and ask AI, hey, can you tell me what really needs my attention from all of these mails I got today? And then it will point out, okay, email coming from that person, he's requesting something to be really urgently delivered or whatever. You can even implement this in your workflow and then connect AI to constantly check and just reply to you when something urgently needs your attention. But this is how you can, let's say, optimize the routine. But I will definitely suggest to agree with people who urgently need something via email that try to send you a message, you agree with them to send you a message or call or whatever, yeah?
Awesome. Now I find that really helpful. Thank you so much. I mean, we've had such an amazing time. At this point, I know I'm assuming there are no longer questions. There are no more questions. Right. So thank you so much, everyone. Can we show our appreciation to Stefan and telling thank you so much. We had an amazing time, and we had people joining from different parts of the country as well. So thank you so much for joining. Just as Stefan has shared the screen for you to start the call to give a feedback, please do that. TFA Hub also have a feedback form. We'd like to know how the section was. So I've shared that in the chat box. Kindly, just for questions, kindly fill it and let's know how the section went for you. Stefan, any final words from you?
Thank you very much. It was really a pleasure to deliver this for you. And I see a lot of questions. That's, let's say, the result that we get a lot of questions is always that it's interesting topic. So yeah, who has LinkedIn, connect with me. Also, I'm on Instagram, more active on LinkedIn for sure. So you can connect with me. And if you have some additional questions in the meantime, feel free to drop on messaging inbox. Yeah?
Awesome. Thank you so much. It was an amazing time. So bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Can you ensure you fill the feedback form before you leave the call? Thank you so much.